Hello, everyone. Today's August 5th, 2026. This is the Kubernetes Data Protection Working Group meeting. So, this is a 1.37 release schedule. Today is the doc freeze deadline. Okay, so first, let's look at CSS CPG status. So, we got this PR merged. This is also merged. Are there any pending PRs that we need to review, get merged? Carl,
I
or
think
we are good?
Simon is working on the issue which VMware filed
Which issue?
on. There was an
Oh,
issue on
the
wrong
okay,
error
gRPC
code.
error code. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, forgot about that. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then I think there was another thing pending, which is a scale test. I'm not sure if anyone has signed up to do that. I think what's his name? Rakesh? What is his name?
Rakshit.
Yeah. I think he was asking about this last time. Not sure if he's planning to work on a tweet test. Okay, so this is still question mark. I think before we move to GA, I think we need to have scale test. And I think for implementation wise, we VMware has implemented and Ceph has it. Um, from backup applications, Valora is implementing that. And Kasten is Kasten. It's just
Well, I have an intern who's working on it and has actually completed a prototype, but yeah,
oh,
we're
okay.
still we're on it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And yeah, Red has also yes. That's I guess this is probably together with this. Okay, I probably should move these two items together. All right. And then what happened to this blog? Is it no reviews or what is the it's ready for review, right? Let's see. Based. Okay, looks like just maybe because this one is not really tied with the release, maybe didn't get views. Uh, this probably also need a tech review. Okay, I can take a look. All right. Anything else for CBT? We're good. Okay. Snapshot topology support. So the CSS spec 1.13 release is cut. This is released. And implementation, this implementation is out of a tree, so it's out of tree. Yes, I think PR is all out, just need to review. And uh, and Dave, you have an update on the white paper?
Well, we're working on it. I
Okay.
wanted to maybe go through like a review today of, say, the table of contents and see if anybody has any comments on what if that looks good, if there's other things we might add or change.
Okay.
So yeah, so we can do that right now. So so this is the white paper. I don't know if everybody's familiar with it. So the idea here is that we would go into best practices for application backup, or not backup, application data protection, and also what operators might do to be better. So a lot of the paper is definitions because um, I don't think everybody, a lot of people coming to Kubernetes don't have like a data protection background. So the beginning of it kind of goes into like what backup restore, what replication, etc., what options are available. And then later in the paper, we get into the actual best practices that you might need. So, so right now, so there's a backup restore section, which is fairly fleshed out. And we go into things like what consistency means for a backup, what all things should be backed up, things like surface level agreements. There's a couple of terms for backup like RTO and RPO that we define because that gets tossed around a lot and it's not always, readily apparent what that means. And then it goes, there's some stuff here on quiescing and completeness, making sure you get everything. And then there's restore, how restore would work. And so this section is fairly well fleshed out, but definitely welcome any comments in this area. And then there's a section that's we need to fill in on disaster recovery for clusters. I think there's a lot there, but then we also want to put some stuff about infra as code. And then replication across multiple sites is another good strategy for data protection. And then we get down into more prescriptive stuff, like how would you define the boundaries of your application? And then what scenarios you should be thinking about, what backup restore applications can do for you. That's the support you can get from backup restore applications. And then you keep going. Let's go down a little bit more, please, Xing. Actually, where did the best? Okay, so best practices for applications and operators are there, and I need to change the heading level so that those became like a uh, higher level. So, so that's kind of the structure of the paper right now. Does anybody have any suggestions for changes we might make, or I mean, it doesn't have to be done right now. If you have time to review and leave comments, that'd be very welcome.
Yes, sorry, this one best practice. You're saying
Yeah,
that
those
move
that
it
should
to
be
the
like
top
heading.
level.
Yeah, I'll move that up
Oh,
to
okay.
top level.
All right, so maybe just heading one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so this is uh it has a lot of good content, but still have a lot of sections we still need to flesh out. So yeah, please review this and add your comment in the paper. There's
Yeah,
a
and if anybody can think of different directions we should be going with the paper, now's the time to toss that out there. So the goal here is to get basically a final draft ready by the next KubeCon, and then nail this thing down by end of year, by probably February, and then we can do the full release by KubeCon EU.
So Dave, hi, this is Jatin. This is my first time joining this working group, but I've been product manager at VMware Broadcom for 10 years, focused on data protection. So we
Great.
we have done for our products, right, similar white papers. Actually, I've been working very closely with Xing on our solution. So one thing which, like coming back to this paper, right? So I like how you have you start with backup restore and then cover the disaster recovery use case, because I've also realized that one of the things which many users do not understand is like the difference between the use cases and what the different terminologies are, right? You mentioned RPO, RTO, etc. So making that clear is half the battle. But another thing which customers many times or users do not understand is that that disaster recovery today, there is an element of it which is also cyber recovery, right? Where you are not just recovering from your latest copy, but you might have to go back and figure out which is your clean copy, unencrypted copy, and then recover from it. So it's mixture of backup and disaster recovery use case. Uh, do you think including that as scope of this white paper makes sense, given that that's one of the top of mind use cases for data protection recently?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent addition. I hadn't thought of that one. So basically, covering what you would need to do to be able to recover from a ransomware attack,
Yes.
and
So
what.
I'm wondering, maybe we can have another paper for that. I was just wondering, if we fit, maybe we can have a small section in this paper, but then maybe have another paper just focusing on that. I just thought, I was just
It,
thinking
it,
that we could have a lot to say just for ransomware recovery, right?
yeah, I think it is it's a hot topic, and it's very relevant for people. It's relevant for not just, I mean, it's not just your data, for example, but if your clusters are simply unrecoverable, right? That's just as bad. Even if you say, quote unquote, I don't have any data, any state, but you wind up in a situation where you can't recover your infrastructure. That's pretty bad. I think we can add something in here though, but
Yeah,
it's an excellent suggestion. So I'm just thinking that, we'd have some stuff on ransomware, how to prepare, as you say, how do you identify like a clean copy? Or how do you keep track of a clean copy or needing to keep track of a clean copy? And then things like immutable backups. That's not really
Yep.
covered in here. Yeah, it's an excellent suggestion. I will work on adding that in.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
actually,
and I'm happy to provide some suggestions, right, on um, like what are the some of the things you already mentioned, right? Figuring out the clean copy, how to make sure that your backups that you are taking are immutable. Then there is a piece of it where when you are figuring out the clean copy, you want to make sure that you do not spread the infection, right? Because most of these ransom where they manifest themselves when you actually start your application, right? So just
Yes.
looking at so you might have to start your application to figure out whether it's clean or not, and that is there is a risk to reinfect, right? So you might have to create some network bubble around it, right? So there is that element of it. So yes, it can we can go into a lot more detail, and as Xing suggested, it might be a different paper, but maybe a small section here just to cover the basics would be a good starting point because it's very much related to disaster recovery use case, right? And builds on that.
Yeah, I really think it's a good thing to put in here because one of the things we're always trying to get people to think about is why they need disaster recovery or data protection. And, a lot of Kubernetes people are still, it's very knee-jerk. It's like, oh, I don't need that, right? Because my application is quote unquote stateless. And I
Yep.
think ransomware is definitely a good thing to make people aware of. I mean, they can make their own decision after they think about it, but it's the knee-jerk reaction that keeps coming up all the time that I think is putting people in danger.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'd appreciate, I mean, I'd love if you want to like start working on a section here, we can, the document is editable and we might add a new section on ransomware, um, or ransomware attacks, right, into the backup recovery. Well, not even backup recovery, but yeah, because we should probably add a section on ransomware attacks, and then both the impact on or the way that you can recover from that with backup, restore, and also what you have to be careful about in, say, replication scenarios, right? Because replication means that you may very well replicate ransomware to another site. And when people say, "Oh, I don't need backup restore because I have replication," it's like, well, yes, maybe not, but maybe, if a ransomware attack occurs, will your replication solution simply replicate that to everything?
Yep.
How do you
Yep.
recover from that?
And that is something which is almost unavoidable, right? That you replicate at least your passive, whether it's snapshots or replicas, you do end up replicating the ransomware. But what you need to now do is make sure that it doesn't spread, right? It's you are
Hmm.
able to just nip it in the bud, patch it using your EDR or whatever tooling you have to patch that ransomware. So yeah, I can take a first pass at adding that section. Put my thoughts. I will make it as a suggestion,
Hmm.
and feel free to provide feedback on that.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's an excellent addition to the paper.
Hey, great.
All right. Anybody else? Yeah, and then we consider doing a follow-on paper on ransomware just in general, or as a focus, right? And all the things that go wrong.
Yeah, I think that it's
That'd be good.
very interesting one. Yeah, very interesting topic. Definitely. I think we should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is a part of it which is very much related to snapshots, replication, but there is
Yeah.
a part of it which is very networking related, right?
Mm.
Like creating these network bubbles to prevent reinfection.
Yeah.
So that could be something which can be elaborated more in this separate paper, because I don't know, like for the scope of this paper, how much deep into networking related stuff you would want to go, right?
Yeah,
So
I don't think we want to do
yeah,
that. This is pretty much concentrated on data protection, but
yep,
yeah, I think having a general ransomware paper, and then also things like, threats to your infrastructure config. Yeah, so there's stuff above and below Kubernetes here that would be very good to handle or reference. So yeah, I think a separate paper on ransomware would be a great thing to do.
yep. So let me focus first on the section here, and then we can think about this, like how does this separate paper
Yes.
uh, we could set up.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we can start another project.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, Jen. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, great idea. Okay. Uh, anything else for this white paper? Okay.
No, I think
Oh, Russ. Yeah, go ahead.
hi, yeah. As Dave said, we're still working on it, but I think that uh, we are we're getting in a lot of good strokes on this, and I like the idea about the cyber influence. But as you said, I think especially if we're going to talk about networking, which I think we should. That's just another, bowl of apples.
Yeah. So let's do another one. So that's actually great, right? We have another thing after this one, and then we have another paper we can work on. Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Russ. Okay. Martin is here. Do you have any update about this application?
I don't have any particular updates. The work continues.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you. No problem.
Actually, I would like to understand
Yes.
what is the status of this work actually right now?
Which work?
The replication.
Oh, yeah, Martin, you want to give an update on this? It's just like I think basically,
Yeah, a brief overview will be good. Like,
yeah.
is it at the spec level or
No, it's not. So I don't know if you get a chance to read this. So there is a project under Raymond DR, and then there's a CSI add-on. Did we include that? Oh yeah, there's a CSI add-on that has a CSI spec extensions basically, right? So there's an implementation here. I think Martin and his team are trying to you're trying to get more vendor support, and then before you submit a design spec, a cap. That's the plan, right, Martin? Is that?
Yes, that's correct. We understand that, kind of there's history with the CSI add-ons and in the Kubernetes community standards process. And we're cognizant of that. We're specifically avoiding submitting a cap until until we can improve the CSI add-on spec by hopefully getting another vendor or two to sign on to and go through the process of of releasing something that's compatible with it. And so we're going through that process right now. And when we're ready to release, and we don't want to submit the cap until we know that what we have as the CSI add-on spec is worthy of being added to the Kubernetes CSI API. So we're
Okay. So
that's where we are.
is there a current spec in the CSI add-ons which we can refer to?
So it's already here. If you look at the link, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's all there, implemented.
Okay.
CSS spec extension, also Kubernetes APIs, they're all in this repo. And then Raymond is more like the orchestration layer, right? Uses the,
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So we are actually also very interested, Martin. So I'm also taking a look at those.
Yeah, actually, we are from the Everpure. We are from Everpure. We are also trying to see if we can try to have an implementation for this and see how we can make it help the team get into the cap as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be delighted to, and we've got the test suite, which we're maintaining as a separate fork right now to test the add-ons compatibility in particular. We may have some other additional testing things that test some of the higher level capabilities. We were actually discussing this on one of our team calls this morning, that the add-on spec does not fully specify some of the behaviors. And in working with some other partners, there's a bit too much daylight between what the add-on spec allows and what a DR orchestrator might reasonably want to do. And so, we're cognizant of that. We're trying to find those gaps. And those are the gaps we hope to fill by, working on the upstream specification and going through this community process.
Okay, awesome. I think we will also take a look at this and see how we can help you. Thank you.
That would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
All right. Are there any other topics? If not, that's it for today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.